Welcome to Awakened Titans podcast with Lily Patrascu, mind-blowing conversations with influential business titans sharing how you can manifest abundance, love, joy, success through quantum awakening, quantum manifestation, quantum healing, quantum miracles, exponential business growth, and innovative products and services. Discover how to scale your business to 7 figures and beyond in this amazing session with Jason Friedman. Now, Jason Friedman is a former theater enthusiast, and he's now a serial entrepreneur and coach dedicated to helping entrepreneurs and small business owners grow and scale their businesses. With a flair for the dramatics and a master of storytelling, Jason has founded and exited 5 successful companies. Now, as CEO of CXFormula, he's teaching businesses how to captivate their audiences using his proprietary Kinetic Customer Formula. He's also at the helm of Spotlight Brand Services, guiding e-commerce brands to success on Amazon and beyond. Join us as we dive into the insights of a leader whose strategies have earned him accolades like Ernst & Young's Entrepreneur of the Year and propelled multiple companies to the top of the Inc. 5000 list. Thank you so much, Jason, for coming on this podcast. First question is, what's the secret to your success?
Hey, Lily, thanks for having me on the show. I'm excited to be here. Yeah, I mean, the secret to my success, if I had to come up with one thing for that, I would say taking radical action. I take action. I don't wait. I don't overthink. I don't spend so much time learning that I don't put something into place. I am an action taker. And my experience is that when you take action, it trumps everything else.
Thank you. And how can a company scale to 7 figures and beyond?
I mean, when you think about that, what does that really mean? Like, what we're trying to do is we're trying to make a bigger impact. We're trying to help more customers, more people get some kind of result. And so as I've scaled my business, it starts by having this unbelievable clarity about who your customer is, what they most need, and figuring out how to deliver that. And most of us have a big vision. Like, we have an idea. We want to grow a $10 million business. We want to grow a $100 million business. But what we don't do is we don't start with the actual customers we're helping and get really clear as to what they most want and what they most need. And so what I do in our proprietary formula, the Kinetic Customer Formula, like you mentioned, what we do is we help people understand how to create those master results by really focusing on the customer and making that the center of the universe. And so as I've scaled these businesses, and what I think most people fail is we spend so much time trying to find strangers and bring them to our business. Once they say yes, we go back and we try and find more strangers. What we do and what we think the key to scaling is to actually flip that around, focus more on the people that do say yes to us. And how do we create this amazing journey that is results oriented, that drives them to that end result? And so we scale businesses by focusing first on the inside. And what I see most businesses do is we have a budget for advertising. We have a budget for marketing. We have a budget for all of these things that bring strangers to our business, which is amazing. You need that. But we don't have a budget for client success. We don't put resources and energy towards helping people get those results. And when clients can they have these super results, they get the value, whatever you sold them on, they actually achieve those goals. They want to tell other people. They share those stories. And those stories become the best possible marketing. And so when I help people scale, it's about building this system internally, the systems and the processes that, like a conveyor belt, take your clients through each success step, getting them to that end result so that they do it in a fluid way, where we remove all the friction, all the obstacles, all the things that get in the way. And a lot of those some of those anyway, but oftentimes a lot of them are in our heads. Like there's limiting beliefs that we have that as people, right? And so our customers have those limiting beliefs. We try and help them. We induce momentum. We give them boosts and things that'll help them get through the harder times. We try and remove anything that's complicated, anything that's confusing, and simplify the process. Think of it like a water slide, right? If you went to your favorite, beach resort or someplace and they had this amazing water slide, it's like if there's not enough water, there's too much friction. You get stuck. and it doesn't feel good. So what we try and do is, again, remove that friction and make it this smooth process. So as you do invest money on bringing strangers to your business and turning them into raving fans, you're doing it on a system that is fluid. And we call that a kinetic pathway. How do we take somebody that has potential and turn them into someone that's active, engaged in getting those results? And it is about the system that you build. And we do it by reverse engineering the process. So by getting really clear on those results, we call them radical results. What would be the most amazing result people could have? And what we want that to be is that they rave about the experience they had and the results that they were able to achieve. They return to buy more products and services from you because they were so happy with the previous experience. They renew their subscriptions and memberships, so they stay a customer longer and longer. And ultimately, they recruit new customers. They love you so much. They're not just a raving fan where they tell people, hey, it was awesome. They go and say, Lily, you have to come work with Jason because it was amazing. Like, I want to bring you, let me introduce you, right? They do everything they can to bring you in. It's a recruiting. And so when you're able to do that, your business scales. It scales automatically because one customer starts to tell more customers. And then those customers have a great experience. They tell more customers. So we look at, like, how do we build this system where we're actually minting success stories? Every single customer that comes through, as much as possible, is a success story. And that's how we focus on scaling businesses, through this proprietary formula that we've created over the last 25 years.
Wow, I love that. And the reason I love it is because a lot of what my partner and I do is very similar to this. Having said that, what I found is that what sometimes trips us over is lack of funds. So, like, you have all these, new clients who want to work with you. And sometimes, do you have like enough funds to kind of recruit people to do that kind of work that I do, and training them to deliver to that same standard? That's where you kind of get tripped up. So I'm wondering, like, what do you do to make sure that the people that you recruit for your business to deliver the same outstanding result can deliver to the same kind of standard that you would do?
Yeah, so I think there's two questions there, right? So the first question that I heard, maybe you can clarify. The first question I heard is, like, if you have prospects that are coming to you that can't afford your services, how do you deliver for them? So that's the first question. And then the second question is, like, once the customers are in there, if you have such high standards, how do you help them get those same kind of standards, right? And so let's start with the first one. And the first question is, if you have customers that are coming to you that can't afford your offer, they can't afford to invest the amount of money that it takes to work with you through your signature program, let's say. And so what I would say to that is, that's okay. First of all, people might be in your ecosystem. They might be part of your larger audience for a long time before they get the money or even the commitment, like, that they want to move forward with you, right? So you're going to have people that are in your ecosystem and in your world for a long time, and they're learning more about you. They're following some of your stuff. They're practicing some of the things that they pick up while they're experiencing, free content that you share out there on the internet, right? They're probably picking up amazing nuggets from you on your podcast and on your videos and all those things. But they're not quite ready to make the investment for a high ticket type program. What I found with most entrepreneurs is, at that point, you need to actually build a smaller program. And that program might be a PDF. It might be a video course. It might be something. But what you want to do is you want to figure out what do I need to get them to, so that they have some results, and now they have some cash or capital that they can invest in that other program, right? And so for me, like, when I find customers that don't have the funds to purchase, like, a live workshop program that I go with, immersive, or a mastermind or coaching program, I try and create an online experience or a mini program for them that they can actually purchase that has a very specific result to help them get part of the way there, that gives them capital, that gives them confidence, so that they are ready to step up and invest in the next program. So I think it's about really looking at the journey overall, right? And so we have to take our customer, this is part of what I was saying earlier, like, you really have to know your customer deeply. right? And so you mentioned earlier, I'm a theater guy, right? So I'm a theater geek, right? I was a lighting designer by trade, and but I worked in theater and I produced shows and I put up shows, and everything in theater is tailored towards an audience, right? Like everything we do, like when you're on stage, you're like, can they see? What are the sight lines? What should the costume be? What should the lights look like? What are the props in my hand? What is the scenery like? How close are the actors to each other? How are they sitting? Like who are they? All of those things matter, but it's all designed from the perspective of the audience. Everything. We never forget about the audience. In business, we often forget about the audience, our customer, right? And so if you really look at the customer, you go deep. And I like to role play. I like to get into characters if I was going to play them on stage. That's how I teach people to do this. And so if you do that, and you really think through, go back in the journey before you even remember what it was like and say, okay, I'm just starting out. I have no money, but I have a dream and I really love what Lily's teaching. And so what was the first step or two that you did that got you to that next level? And build out something that speaks to that challenge and that opportunity to help them there. And then you can start to go to the next level. We often meet people at different levels of their journey, and that's okay. You don't have to start at the beginning when you're selling something. You can start with people that have more experience. But if you're attracting like more inexperienced people or newer people to this opportunity, whatever you're teaching, then either you're attracting the wrong audience that you don't want to work with those people, or if you do want to work with those people, then you need to find a way to support them where they are. And so I would encourage you to make that decision. Like we can't help all people all the time, right? As a business, we do have to focus. So maybe the answer for you is, look, I got to change some of my messaging so I attract more experienced people. Or maybe I have to find a program that supports them in a more limited capacity or a different capacity that's at a different price point. And so I would just encourage anybody listening, like avatar or persona, like looking at who our prototypical ideal client is, get really clear, understand them, understand their journey, pretend that you were, Robert De Niro and you were going to get into character to be in a movie. How do you get to know that character so well that it's believable when you're on stage or you're on screen? And that level of knowledge, it comes from talking to those customers, understanding those customers, observing those customers, looking at the things they look at, reading the magazines and the books and the things that they read so you understand what's going on in here. Because when you can connect with them here and understand them, and you can show them that you're interested in helping them, things get a lot easier. You can create little programs or bigger programs or whatever they need that really serve and support them. So I think that's that part one answer, I think. The part two question, which was, I bring people into my program and I have such a high standard for success and results, but they may not be able to live up to that standard. And I think, that's another piece of like really knowing your customer, right? You really, if they're not at that standard, maybe they're not the right fit customer for you. Or maybe you have a standard that is far outreaching what most people can handle, right? That's possible. But what I would say is the culture of your business, the who you attract, like your employees, your business partner, the way you show up, you're going to attract a certain kind of client. And as you start to talk about the culture and how you work and you share the insights about your business, people buy into that. That's what they're buying. They're buying that result and that vision, but they're also buying you and the organization and the feeling, right? The most important thing in customer experience is feeling. It's how people feel. And so if you're motivating them, inspiring them to be better and to achieve more and to do more, the right people are going to do that. They're going to step up to the plate. And so I think like the most important thing, we started this in the beginning when I said, it's really about the customer. You've got to understand them. And if you're building a program that's working for them, it'll match up. It'll match up. And if it's not, then you definitely have a challenge there with like this customer and this service are not matching. What do I want to change? I either got to change my customer or I got to change the service. And then when you do, you'll have more success.
Thank you so much. Now, what I found is that when you are having a conversation with a potential customer, and let's say you're selling something for $500, okay, then versus another conversation with a client where you're selling something for 25K or 50K, the conversation is very different.
Yeah.
So, how do you what do you have to do differently when you are having this, conversation for super high ticket items versus, when you are selling something relatively inexpensive?
Again, I think it comes down to the customers, right? If it's someone that can afford the high ticket item, like what you're doing is you're painting a picture of the future, of the transformation, of what the outcome is going to look like and what those results can be. And if they see themselves in that scenario, they want that, right? We're like, it's the old adage of like, they're on Pain Island, they have a problem or a challenge or something, and they want to get to Pleasure Island over here where that's happy and everyone's healthy and all the good things, right? If that's the scenario, then you're painting this picture of what that looks like, and then your program is the boat that gets them there, right? And so what typically happens is like the dollar value is related to the level of touch that you give them. So the highest touch program, meaning like more of you and your partner spending kind of one-on-one or, one-to-many, but like intensive time, that's going to be the highest value and the highest level. The next level down is maybe it's a larger group and there's a little less. Maybe there's some other coaches or things like that. That's the middle. And then maybe the bottom is like they go on their own. They're on a video-based program that they self-navigate. It's no different. It's like if I'm going from this island to that island, it's like the rowboat, the speedboat, or the yacht. And so different customers are going to want different ways to get there. Like there's people that fly in economy class, there's people that fly in economy plus, and there's people that want to fly in business class and then first class. And all of those are just a different experience that you're sharing with people. And so I think the important thing is to really show what that experience looks like and how that transformation is there and how you're going to support them through that. And the people that want the highest ticket, they're going to want to be in that first class experience, and that's what you're providing. But that's not for everybody, and I think it's okay. Like you shouldn't be discouraged if a bunch of people say no, because there's a lot more seats in economy than there are in first class, and there's a reason for that. It's more exclusive. Less people are able to afford that. And so as you build your business out and you start to look at the matrix of your customers, the strategy to like scale is like, how do I help people ascend to that next level who want to? And you start to show them a path about how you and your coaching and your support or your products and your services can help them do that. It's even internally, like we're talking a lot about the outside customer front stage, but inside backstage, it's the same thing for your employees. Like if you're really thinking about that journey, they come in at a certain level, they want to grow, they want opportunity to succeed and expand in your business. And if you're scaling a business, you have to scale everything. It's not just scaling your customers, it's scaling your employees too. And so the systems that you build are not just like client, acquisition systems and client fulfillment or experience systems. It's also the employee systems. Like you have to learn how to cultivate growth and expansion within your team so that people are growing and going up to the next level. So it really is a comprehensive way to look at that. And I think it starts by understanding like there are different levels. There's different levels of services that you would sell, and people want different levels of touch, high touch, middle touch, low touch, tech touch, right? And so those are priced accordingly based on that investment. And that's how I would have those conversations.
Thank you. Would you say that there is a requirement to communicate something around mindset, about the problem they're having, about any other thing, any particular strategy that you would recommend for specifically closing on high ticket items to help you grow to seven figures and beyond?
Yeah. So that's an excellent question and a complicated one, which I'm sure you know as well, right? So you have to sell people on what they want and then also give them what they need. You can't sell them on what they need. They're not going to buy what they need unless they also want it. And so mindset is always, did I say always enough? Always part of the problem, right? Or part of the opportunity, part of the challenge. We all have that. You, me, we both have it too. Like there's times when we go in and out of that, even if we coach people on it and teach people that, we still have some challenges ourselves sometimes. We may catch it sooner. Or we may have our own coaches that help us through that, right? So we all have that. I don't know that that's something that I always address head on in the sales process, because I don't think people often receive it well, because they're defensive and they're closed, and they don't want to believe it's them, even if they know deep down that some of the challenge is them. And so the way I approach that more is through stories and through sharing, I want to say case studies or testimonials or whatever. And so what I love sharing, and even in my own case, is like my journey. Like, I didn't just kind of fall out of bed one day and know everything I know. I went through a whole learning experience. I had ups and downs and this and that. When you can share the journey of someone, of one of your customers, from where they went and the struggles or the ahas and the epiphanies and the wins they had, people can relate to that, and they can start to see their story matching up in other people. And so the most effective way I've found in helping people make the right decision, whether that's to purchase the program or to not purchase the program, either way, I'm fine with. I just want to help the right people that want to be helped by what I have to share. It's by sharing success stories and case studies of people that have been through my programs, and ideally having them, my customers, share those stories directly in a conversation, in an interview, in a video, whatever, because people start to see themselves. They see that, oh, I'm just like Susie, and Susie was able to do this. She had 12 cats also. She had 20 kids. She had a husband that worked all the time. She had, little whatever. She sees that, and she did it. And that's inspiring, right? And it gives her that confidence, right? Like, most people are waiting for this sign of confidence to show up, to take action. And the scary secret is confidence doesn't show up to help you make a decision like that. Confidence comes as a result of taking the action, of having the experience. That's where confidence comes from. So what they have to find is courage. And so by seeing other people in testimonials and seeing them taking a step and it being okay and it actually being great, and even though there's some ups and downs, it worked, that is what inspires them and helps them find the courage within themselves and take a step forward. So that's how I would help people. I wouldn't directly confront the mindset thing. And I don't think that that's being disingenuous. I just think it's not going to help them make a decision.
Thank you. I'm also wondering about the entrepreneurs themselves that are trying to scale to 6 to 7 figures and beyond. Is there anything that you can recommend in terms of mindset, strategy, or communication, or anything else that could help them to go to the next level?
Yeah, that's a great question too. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, so many things, but like one of the most common challenges I see with entrepreneurs that are trying to go to 7 figures or even to 8 figures is they don't have a big enough vision of what's possible. Like they can only see, like, I'm at 250,000 in revenue. I can double it. They can see 500,000, but they don't see $1 million or 5 million or 10 million. They're afraid of what that looks like, or even to imagine and dream it up, because it also puts a pressure on how am I going to get there? And so, like, one of the things I do with entrepreneurs that I'm trying to help, and this is at any level, is let's have a bigger vision of what's possible. Let's play a game. Let's imagine what it looks like. Because when you start to double your business, depending on the size of your business, like at the smaller numbers, right, less than 10 million, doubling your business, you can probably do it by getting like a little more aggressive, by just working harder and trying a little harder and harder and harder. But when you want to go 10 times the size, you can't get there by working harder. You have to get there by working differently and shifting paradigms and beliefs and opportunities. So what we try and do with entrepreneurs that are trying to scale is we play this game and we, hey, all right, I want you to go back in time when you were 10 times smaller than you were today. So if you're at 100,000, it was when you were at 10,000. If you're at 1 million, it was when you're at 100,000. If you're at 100 million, it's when you were at 10 million. It doesn't matter the size. Go back when you were 10 times smaller and tell me what your business looked like. And then tell me what were the key things you did that got you to that 10 times larger place. And so they go through and they look at it and they figure it out. And then we say, okay, great. Now I want to project you into the future. You're 10 times bigger. So now you're at, let's say you're at 10 million. You were at 1 million. I want you to be there. I want you to close your eyes, get in the time machine. I want you to go to 10 times bigger. You're at 10 million. And I want you to look around. Tell me what you see as if you're standing there in the place. And this is a little woo-woo, right? It's like manifesting in a way, but it is. I want you to be there. I want you to think about it. I want you, who's on your team? What are they doing? Who are your customers? What are you selling? How is your revenue coming in? What are the different revenue lines that are supporting your business? And then I want you to, in your mind, again, because you've already done it, I want you to go back in time and I want you to think about what are the things that you did. So you're playing this game. The crazy thing is, by going back to when you were 10 times smaller from where you really were, it gives you that confidence because you've already done it. Now it allows you to expand your vision and have this bigger game. You've already done 10 times growth. You can do it again. Let's just do it intentionally this time. Because I promise you, the last time you were just doing things trying to make it work. And so this time you know a lot. Now let's play the game. Don't worry about how. Just worry about what it looks like. And then from there, your team's involved, you're playing this game. They're all like, wow, like I could do this, I could do that. Okay, great. What is that first stage to get us to that next step? And then everyone starts to take ownership. They get excited about it. We have meetings or huddles or things around that. And we have some clarity because we know that we're on a mission now. We are on a mission to get to this place. And then we also teach people to measure their success from where they started, not from the goal, right? Because like if you start saying, I wanted to get to 10 million, but I only got to 6, that's negative. You feel, I didn't make it. But if you're at 1, you got to 6, it's like, woo, well, I got to 6. That's amazing. So like the perspective, the mindset shift of the perspective changes the game. And so that's where I would start with anybody that's really looking to scale. Most entrepreneurs, I'm telling you right now, we overestimate what we can do in a week, but we underestimate what we can do in a year. So let's start having a bigger vision. Let's start playing a game and start thinking bigger than we ever thought possible. Get that dream board out, get that vision board out, start to think about what that looks like. And all of a sudden, these things will start to happen because it starts to force you to think a little bit differently about how it works.
Thank you. And what's your message to entrepreneurs worldwide?
I mean, I love entrepreneurs. So first of all, thank you. Thank you for taking the risk to do the work that you do. Thank you for being vulnerable and sharing your gifts in the world. Thank you for creating jobs and opportunities and trying to help other people. I believe that entrepreneurs, we can all change the world, and we are changing the world and making the world a better place. So the work is hard. It's not always easy. It takes a lot of effort and it can be lonely. So find your tribe of other entrepreneurs, find your peers, find the people that inspire you and motivate you and help hold you accountable so that you can make all your dreams actually become reality.
Thank you. And tell us about how you awakened to your titanic power and how did you manage to create such a massive impact in the world?
I mean, like I said, I had an epiphany. Like the reason, like when I was 17 years old, my best friend and I were driving down the road in my car. I was driving, he was sitting in the passenger seat, and we were frustrated. We were frustrated about, we just went to a bank. His dad was an entrepreneur and he had a check for $1 million. More money than I ever seen. It was a check, but it was like, wow, it's $1 million. And his dad said, can you guys go to the bank and deposit this? We're like, sure. So we went to the bank and like, they wouldn't take the check. Like he had signed it, whatever. We weren't cashing it. We were just depositing it. They refused to take the check from us. And we thought that was ridiculous. Like it had the stamp from the company endorsing it on the back. It was a deposit slip, putting it in his account. The names matched. There's no reason to doubt that. They refused. And we were like, how do people do businesses? And then we realized, like, we kept saying this over and over, like, why is there so much friction? Why does everyone make it hard to do business with them? It could be the fast food restaurant. It could be this bank. It could be a retail store. It could be, whatever it is. There weren't a lot of online businesses back in those days. Dates me a little bit, but it's hard. It's hard to do business and it's frustrating. And we were like, you know what? Someday we are going to make it better. We're going to find a way to like make things less full of friction. We're going to find a way to help people make it easier because there's no reason, like they took the check. We were in such a good mood. We were so happy. We were having a great day. We went out to deposit this check. We were imagining what our lives would be like if we were depositing $1 million check in our bank account. And then this bank made us angry. That doesn't have to happen. businesses, if we all were able to make people happy and help them get results, like, we'd have a better world. We'd have a better universe. So our mission has always been work with entrepreneurs to make it better. And when I had that epiphany that day, every single thing I've ever done has that through line in it. And so that's the day that I decided, like, I am going to help make the world a better place. As lofty as that sounds, as crazy as that sounds, I do it in my own little way. I just help as many people as I can, and the ripple effects of that go out. And I'm just going to keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it. And for me, the reward, it's not about the money. I sold the company for a lot of money. I'm not working for the money. I'm working to help entrepreneurs. When I see an entrepreneur, when I see their eyes light up because they got an epiphany or they had a breakthrough from a conversation, that's what I'm doing it for. I'm doing it to help people get that step forward, feel that feeling of, oh, aha, I got it, yes, and get them excited about going back in and doing the work that's going to help their customers. And that ripple effect, that lights me up. And that's what like makes me like want to get out of bed every morning and help people make a radical impact in the world doing what they are best at.
Wow, that's so inspiring. Thank you so much for this conversation, and stay tuned for the next episode. Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential business titans, providing you with the insights to awaken to your full potential so you can get paid to be yourself, find true happiness, and manifest anything you desire.